Alright, it's time. Another week. ZTGD Radio. This is episode 769, dudes. For October 23rd, 2023. And on the show this week, we have Terrence.
What up?
We got the Wombat.
Yes, sir.
We got video games. There's lots of video games to play.
Lots of them.
Yeah. I need a vacation so I can play the video games.
Oh, there's so many.
Dude, I just, I mean, I'll talk about it on the show, but I just revisited like a 2-hour DLC that I've been like sitting on forever, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, I need more time. But we'll kick it off with you, Terrence. What you got going on?
Well, let's see. What can I talk about this now? I think the majority of my stuff is not embargo. Oh, that is. I'm still playing Detective Pikachu. Actually, I'm in the process of finishing up that review. Yeah, it's just not for me.
Like nobody's talking about that game. Like the first party Nintendo game came out, and like everybody forgot.
Yep. We'll see, because we had talked about that in our little Discord about all the bangers Nintendo dropping. I totally forgot about Detective Pikachu, and I'm reviewing it, and that's messed up. So, but yeah, it's not. I don't know. Like I said last week, like I enjoy the mystery type games. Like even the Perot game that I played was kind of engaging in that way. This one, it just. I just like there's no movie that was coming out. They had to push this out, but it just feel like it's just kind of here, kind of paint by numbers stuff. Like I said, I still love the voices. Like I like Pikachu's voice, which is cool, and I like seeing the various Pokemon, because a lot of the little side cases that you solve obviously involve Pokemon stuff, because you can talk to them. Like the character that you play in the game can talk to them, or understand them rather. But yeah, outside of seeing the Pokemon, it just is not it. But I did jump into well, actually, I could talk about Hellboy.
Oh
now,
yeah, I finally tried that this weekend.
What did you think? Uninstalled?
I did uninstall it. I played through the first couple levels, and I was just like, I see the little animation thing that bothers you, and I'm like, all right, I could get used to this, but it's annoying. Like
You do get used to it. Yeah,
it's just fucking boring.
Yep,
I'm not gonna lie.
It's because I like. I mean, I talk about it on the show. Like I'm a huge comic book fan, and while I'm not extremely well read on Hellboy, I know enough about him and kind of stuff to be dangerous. Of course, I've seen the movies and everything. But actually, there's a spinoff from Hellboy, the Lobster Johnson, that I actually have read. I love Lobster Johnson because it's like noir. And he has a lobster claw and everything. It's so good. Like Lobster Johnson.
What the fuck? Who came up with the name Lobster Johnson?
I don't know. Like somebody recommended that to me, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And like I read the first issue, like they let me borrow it. I was like, "Okay, this my shit." Like he's fucking detective. Like and it's like in the Hellboy. It's I don't know if Mike. Go ahead.
Have they ever had like a vocalization of him? Because I just imagine him having that like, "My name is Lobster Johnson," like with the big ass mustache, and you can't understand his muffled voice. It's just like.
I honestly think that is probably how he would sound. Yes, and I don't think that they have had.
I gotta look him up now. I gotta look him up now because I got a picture of him in my head, and I'm like, how close am I? How close? Oh, I'm not even close. Okay, never mind. This dude look like Phantom 2149 or some shit. I don't know.
He does, actually. It does look a lot like that. But anyway, Hellboy, yes, it is. It ends up being ultimately boring. So it's a rogue light, and they say it's a brawler, but it's even the combat is boring. So in each of the Okay, let me just elevator pitch it. So you come to this butterfly house, the BRPD, which is the team Hellboy works for, and they're trying to figure out where their missing agent went. And in this house is a other dimension that's called the Word, and it's spelled WYRD. And the house allows you to dive into this dimension where there's shadowy things going on. And that, in the essence, is the roguelite thing. So you end up, you go through you dive in, you can find ways to augment your powers like all roguelikes. So like you'll punch harder, or when you kill the little mooks, the little enemies that they have, you might get more what's it called, toughness back, like your shield basically back. But all this game boils down to is you walk down these little hallways. At some point there's traps that will appear that you need to avoid, and then you come to a battle arena where multiple things will spawn. There'll be giant monsters and little monsters. You ain't even got to fuck with the little monsters, because all they do when you kill them is they drop diamonds that replenish your toughness. You just focus on the big guys and take them out. And it all comes down to you just throwing some punches and then hitting like your little ultimate, which like once you stun them, he like hits them with his stone fist and like knocks them across the arena. And you can aim that. I never was successful in that. It just kind of felt like it was going wherever, like when I was pressing different directions. And then they hit, a wall or something, get some damage, wash, rinse, repeat until they're dead, until you move on to the next one. The only thing that I liked about it is that it looked like a comic book in motion. Like the art style, like once you get past the weird like graphical glitch that's like Spider-Verse-esque when stuff is moving, it looks like a moving comic book, and it's very much Mike Mignola's, I think that's how you say his last name, his style. Like he drew this, like it's hand drawn and everything. Like it's beautiful to look at, just not so much to play. And then Lance did his thing. He voiced Hellboy, which there's a bunch of notable, because Steve Blum is in it, and he's the agent that you rescue. But this is one of Lance Reddick's, I think, last roles, and he did a great job voicing Hellboy. But yeah, it's super mid.
Yeah, I was like, I don't like. It seems cool. Like the characters seem cool. The voice acting is good, but like as soon as I was like punching people, I'm like, wow, this is.
Yep.
Ooh, this is boring. Like I don't want to play this.
Yeah, it's a shame too, but because Hellboy, because I think I said this in the review, I feel like Hellboy and Spawn are comic book characters that both should have, so a kick-ass video game, and neither of them do. Like, I mean, they have games that have come out, but none of them have been worth anything.
I like the Dreamcast Spawn game, the Arena Battler, and I like the PS2 one, the one that Keith David voiced.
Okay.
Those are the two
I don't
Spawn
think I ever
games
played
that
the
I like.
Dreamcast one.
The Dreamcast one is basically just an
up.
arena brawler where it's like you pick a character and like Power Stone the shit out of each other with guns.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good game.
That sounds okay. Yeah, and the PS2 one, you said Keith David did the voice?
Yes, he did.
Was it like God of War-esque? Did it come out around that time?
It's a little more Devil May Cry than God of War. So
I'm gonna look that up. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's called Armageddon. Don't play the PS1 one. The PS1 one tried to be Tomb Raider with a 2D with a Tekken brawler when you fight, and it's not good.
I think I played that one. Yeah, that was not good. Yeah, and
No.
I played like the Super Nintendo Spawn, and I mean I liked them in Soul Calibur on the Xbox one. But yeah, okay. What else did I play? Lord. I played Like a Dragon Ishin, because that's on Game Pass.
Yes.
I like that.
That's another game I need to go back to.
Yeah, it's definitely a Yakuza game, just set in feudal Japan. What I like most is that when the conversations that you have with people, which of course is many, when they say different things like Kyoto and different provinces, it has like a glossary which will put on the screen. Like you press the button, it'll pop up a box and it'll tell you what this particular thing. Like I didn't realize that Edo is current day Japan, and I know that now Tokyo, because of that little glossary thing. I didn't realize that, but yeah, that was kind of cool. But yeah, outside of that, it just feels like a Yakuza game with swords and guns. I'm still trying to get a feel for the combat because while I'm able to be successful, I don't feel like I'm doing it as smooth as I should be able to because I can't ever get the heat finishers off. Like I can when they're on the ground, but I can't like stun them where you can do different moves. Like I know because you can do like wall finishers and stuff in some of the other games. I'm assuming that you can in this too. I don't know. Um, what else? Man, well, I talked about Wizard with a Gun last week, I think.
I booted
Did I?
that
I
up this
think I did.
week. Yeah, I don't like that. It's a pet peeve of mine when you're playing those overhead type shooters where your character, you aim with the right stick, but your character's always like
Mhm.
hard locked to a position.
Yes,
That
that,
drives
yeah.
me up a fucking wall, and I don't know why. It just like when my character's moving, but he looks like he's moonwalking because he's like pointed the
Yep,
other
because you're
direction.
aiming that way. Yeah, I hate that too. I got you. I got you.
I
I
can't
got you. It's,
stand
I
it.
mean, and that game's not. I mean, it's not all that. It's not horrible. It's just meh. It's not all that. I was expecting more from it. Um, I talked about that. Talked about I played I booted up the Evil Within 2 since it's October, well almost over now, but and playing through that because I know y'all had talked about it a while ago and I had installed it, but I guess I had never
Oh,
really
it's
got
so
into it.
good.
But that's
So
yeah,
good.
yeah, and I didn't realize it got an update because it definitely is moving at 60 frames per second. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's
Yep.
yeah. Um and that it looks good. That's an Xbox One game. Is that when that one came
Yes.
out?
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah,
both
yeah, it looks
Evil
good too.
Withins are Xbox One, PS4 games.
Okay. All right, it looks good. I played some Troublemaker, Raise Your Gang, which I'm in the middle of reviewing. That so what appealed to me was the art style. So it's I think Polynesian developer, and so you basically are going to high school. You're a high schooler who is getting picked on, and you beat up some bullies, and then like you gather friends, and then basically there's high school adventures. Like I'm not super far, and I'm only finished the first chapter, which just saw me getting beat up and then beating up people, and now I think when I loaded in, like it's the first day of school, so now I'm about to start the whole school thing. But so far, I liked what I played. Definitely an indie game, so don't expect AAA polish. There are some issues, some things that could feel a little more fluid, but the combat and movement system, which is what end up doing a lot of this in this game, feels well enough to be to be playable. So I like what I played so far. I'll dig in some more later because like I said, I got to write a review for it. And I want to say that's probably it for real. Because I'm
For
sure I
real?
probably have crossover with y'all. I mean, because I played Mario Wonder, but I'll let y'all really.
Well,
Um,
I have a thing
that.
about Mario Wonder. We're gonna hold conversation
Oh,
for
okay.
Mario Wonder for a reason. It's a surprise.
Okay. It's a
It's
surprise.
a surprise.
Um, okay. Yeah, I think that's probably it. I mean, something else will come to me, I'm sure. But yeah, that's that's it for right now.
All right, Wombat, you wanna talk about anything besides Mario?
I mean, I don't really have a ton to talk about. I finished Spider-Man, so I haven't really uh, got into anything heavy since I finished that. I've been playing some smaller stuff and just some stuff here and there when I have a minute. So on my Steam Deck, I've been playing, oddly enough, Rogue Legacy. Um, which is one of my favorite games of all time. I love that game. So I just go back and play it every now and then. And I've started a new playthrough on the deck, and that game's like the perfect Steam Deck game because the runs are short. So you can, if you've just got 15 minutes or whatever, you can get a run in. Um, so I've been playing a decent amount of that. I have the first one and the second one on Steam Deck, but I've been playing the first one. Um, what else? What else? Played some more Baldur's Gate. I'm still really enjoying that game, and I need to put a substantial amount more time into that between now and the Game of the Year podcast, so I can figure out where it fits in. Um, let's see, what else have I played? I'm trying, I'll say, to get back into Starfield, to play through some more of that. And man, the game is just, it's not easy to go back to.
Yeah.
I enjoy the game, I do, and I mentioned that before. But it's just not an easy game to go back to. It controls fine, it plays fine. There's a bunch of stuff here, but none of it really. And I know I'm gonna get flack about this, but I don't give a shit. Coming off Spider-Man, especially, nothing really seems like it matters much in the game. Like none of the missions or anything really feel like they matter much. So that makes it a little bit harder, I think, to invest the time that it's going to take to go back through it. As I was mentioning before we went on air, I did the Mantis mission that I kept hearing so much about, and I mean, there's some neat lore here that's sort of, interesting, I guess, but the actual mission itself is just another go here, clean out this laboratory kind of mission. So it's not great. Overall, I do enjoy the game, as I mentioned before, and I'm sure it's a game that I'll go back to off and on again. But I expected it to be a game that made it difficult for me to play other games, if that makes sense. Like, I expected it to be a game that would suck my time away from playing new stuff.
Yeah.
And I almost felt like I had to force myself to come back to it, which is not at all what I expected from a Bethesda game. Because, I mean, anybody that knows me knows that Bethesda games tend to suck my life away. And this one's just, it's not doing it. So maybe if I play it a little bit more, it'll suck me back in again. But it has been more difficult than I expected to come back to. But I have been playing some of that. And then I think the only other thing I've played is Mario. So we can wait and talk about that when we talk about Mario.
All right. I have a few things to go through besides Mario, and of course I can dally up the indie games. I don't think anything really stood out this week, but the couple big games that I can talk about. So I checked out Lords of the Fallen because I give every Souls game till I get to the first bonfire to see if I care enough to try to keep playing it. Like, Liza P still sits on my hard drive. I want to play that. That is an interesting game. Eventually, I will try to go back to it. Lords of the Fallen. I don't think either of you play. I know Ryan probably hasn't played it.
No, definitely I have not.
I played the because it was like an Xbox Game for Gold thing.
Oh, you played the first one. Okay, so I played this one, and what the fuck, man? So, like,
comes a new challenger.
There
I
is.
love to see it.
Yeah, there's my surprise. It just showed up. But no, I was going through the game, and I'm just like, okay, so it's a Souls game, attack with the bumpers, do your dodges, it's teaching me all this stuff, and then it starts to go into this like realm shifting shit, and it's like, okay, so you can take this lantern and you can shift into this thing, and then you could suck the soul out of this dude, and then you could do this. Like, this is in the first 10 minutes of the game, and I done forgot everything. Like, as I was going through it, I was like, okay, so can I grab this guy and then pull him out, and then, like, apparently I can do this to enemies when I'm in this realm. And I was like, man, when I'm already frustrated, the last thing I want to do is, like, spend 20 minutes trying to figure out what the fuck I'm doing.
Feel it, 100%. I feel it.
Oh my god, this is too much. This is too much. I will say it's very pretty. Like,
That's good.
I only played it for like 45 minutes. So a lot of people are saying there's like a lot of weird glitches and performance stuff, which has been pretty common with Unreal 5 games. But I can say, just from the little bit I played of it, it's a very pretty game.
You know what? Speaking of glitches, and maybe this is you might have this for the new stuff, because I saw on Twix that people were saying Spider-Man had a bunch of glitches, but y'all didn't mention any of that. Did y'all run into any problems?
I didn't run into any problems at all in my playthrough.
It feels like the day one patch apparently broke some shit, because even Digital Foundry was like, I don't know what y'all are talking about, and like I didn't see anything. And
that one specific glitch that somebody put a whole video on about how if you zoom in to the background, you'll see some low detail on buildings and shit in the background. Number one, like,
who's doing that?
Quit zooming into the background of shit. That's loser behavior. I'm just telling you, that's loser behavior. But anyway, if you're someone that is bothered by that, I didn't notice that. And then the Digital Foundry guy later in the day was like, I don't know what they're doing, because that doesn't seem to be the case in the version that I'm playing. So I don't know if it's just like a glitch that was localized on that one person's machine. Or like I've seen glitches where Miles or Peter isn't wearing a suit. They're just like
their head
visible from the neck down.
Yeah.
That didn't happen to me at all.
No.
So I have no idea. I have no idea what's up. Like Ken said, it may have been the day one patch broke some stuff. But yeah, I didn't run into any of that.
No, I had one funky glitch in my entire playthrough, like one little open world kind of stupid thing. That was it.
The one glitch I saw on Twix, and I honestly was more impressed at Insomniac's attention to detail than anything else. He was swinging around as Spider-Man, and he swung low, and he collided with a truck, with like a moving truck with an open, with a back, and he phased through it, and he was trapped inside the truck, and it was fully modeled in there, and I was like, oh damn. Well, that's going in Insomniac, but that was the only glitch I saw. But I was more impressed.
I didn't. I didn't obviously run into that one at all either. So again, I'm not dismissing that any of those actually exist, like that any of those glitches actually exist, but I sure as heck didn't see any of them.
Yeah, I mean, they're clearly happening now, because there's plenty of footage on the internet, mostly console fanboy bullshit. But
see, and that's why I wanted to ask y'all, because I felt like even the one that I saw, I think was from like Goliathan or something like that, and I've seen that name, but I feel like he's a fanboy person, so that's why I was just wondering if y'all had actually saw any glitches like that, because I know y'all above that fanboy shit, and you're gonna keep it real. So
no, I didn't see them, but then again, like I played before the day one patch, like I barely touched it after the patch, so
gotcha.
I don't know. It's a weird situation that I don't understand, because like the game is fine, like.
Yeah.
I guess I can take this time as a stop in the action to welcome our fourth chair for the show this week. Hi, Anthony. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
Oh, it's wonderful to hear your voice.
It is wonderful to hear your voice.
It's the worst. It's the worst surprise you could give the listeners.
No.
Just like, no way.
Man, when I heard that, like I hit the thing, and I was like, "Oh, I guess Drew dropped in." I saw you. I was like, I had the biggest smile. I was like, "Oh,
yeah, no. Listen. I'm just saying, you probably hyped it up too much. Not just knowing Ken. Probably said like, and there's going to be a surprise person on the show or something, and then it's like, and it's Anthony. It's like, oh.
Well,
I know I don't have a great track record with people that listen to this show, so I'm just saying to those select people, I'm sorry I didn't hype myself up.
Well, all I know is there's like 6 times a day where I think, oh, I need to show this to Anthony, and then I don't have a mechanism to show it to Anthony.
That's because you are a purveyor of fine internet garbage, and I'm the perfect receptacle for it.
This is true.
Like, where can I put this shit post? Oh, I know. Anthony's DMs.
Where can I put this weird thing about Sonic the Hedgehog?
Oh, yeah, always.
Oh, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Speaking of...
Yeah, well, I'll get to that.
Oh, did you play it?
Do cows move?
Yeah, exactly. The cows moo.
The cows moo, man. Of course he played.
Yeah, of course I played it. Is that what I respond to you with, by the way?
Yes.
Because Terrence asked me, "Oh, you bought it?" And I went to cows moo. All right, so after cleaning my life up a bit on the personal side of things, and that meant getting rid of a bunch of comics and stuff. Life was a little messy, but regardless, I found time to play video games again. I still have Anonymous Code I'm working on for review. Real downside to having visual novels is because the gameplay is less important than the story at the end of the day. And I've been tricked by some visual novels in the past that start off really good and end with a wet thud. Not. So I'm working on Anonymous Code. So far, wow, really great art. I guess this is part of a series. Jay said that. I want to say it's part of robotics notes and stuff, but they're not like actually connected. I don't think. I think that it's all like tangentially related through like concepts. The game is about being able to save, like the character can save and then go back to a previous save and keep his memories. So I don't know how well that'll translate into mechanics, but like really fascinating stuff. And like the science fiction element of like what the villain is doing is insane. I don't think I've seen it before. I'm really impressed with Anonymous Code. It's a novel and you have to be in the right mood for that. Sometimes you just want brainless fun. So I finished Never Stop Sneaking. And I don't know if anybody remembers that game, but it's made by the guy who did Dust and Elysian Tale.
It's a Metal Gear Solid game, right?
It's a Metal Gear Solid sort of game, yes.
Yeah.
You literally only
Dust
move...
game.
Well, Dust is a masterpiece. Never Stop Sneaking is a slog.
It is.
Ooh.
Like, I started it.
It's a roguelike,
yeah.
sort of.
Yeah.
And you only move your character. You don't... Everything your character can do, they do automatically. If they need to fire a gun, you have to have a bullet. They'll take out enemies if you walk up to them. The enemies have vision cones. It's a big parody of Metal Gear Solid, and the enjoyment lasts about 20 minutes.
Yep, that's when I turned it off.
I finished the entire thing. I got that to 100%. Just so I could delete it from my Switch and never look at it again. Because it wasn't hard, it was just tedious. And I'm real glad I didn't have it on like Steam where there's achievements. That would have driven me nuts. I was looking for a dungeon crawler, so I went back to Operencia, which I gave a 9.5, and I would probably redo that to an 8.5. Now, it's still amazing. The problem is there's like a difficulty spike, and the way the game is set up, there's no real way to get over that other than just sheer luck. Because you can't go in like power level and fight enemies to level up and stuff. It's literally just like you have to kind of stack your equipment and skills in a certain way and just kind of hope to God that you can get through some of the later battles.
I've played something like that. I can't remember what it was. It wasn't a fun experience.
There's a lot of games like that, unfortunately, and I'm just going to say it, like, Operencia is amazing otherwise, so that's the reason why I stand by it, and the battles are fun. The problem is that there's certain battles that just are a nightmare, and while you can kind of squeeze your way out of them, like, I shouldn't have to go back across the map continuously to the campfires in order, like, if it gave me some way to just kind of, what's the word I'm thinking of? Grind levels, I think that game would go over better. Okay, so here's the 3 games that I've been mainly spending my time with, though. One is Illusion Island. That's a game from earlier this year.
That's the Disney game, right?
Yes, it is. I am extremely impressed. I kind of knew I was going to enjoy it because I enjoy that Mickey Mouse, which is the cartoons that they've released for the last 10 years.
I love that too.
Yeah, they're excellent.
Yep.
It's got that same sense of humor. Some of it's done as a full cartoon. I think the introduction sequence is one of the funniest things I've seen in a long time. That's Disney related, for sure. It's got really smart writing.
Is my boy Donald the best? Is he the best?
I mean, Donald gets treated the worst. Every time you get an upgrade item, clearly the man who gives everybody the upgrade items, because so for example, I guess I gotta explain this game. It's a Metroidvania, but there's no combat. That's a little weird, but it works really well. The whole goal is that it's an obstacle course that is explorable. You go back through older areas usually, so you don't have to really go out of your way. There's collectible cards. There's collectible. The collectible cards just show you the enemies that you can basically the hazards in the environment. There's these little hobo sacks, and the hobo sacks contain, I want to say they call them relics or something like that, but it's just old things from Mickey Mouse cartoons. So one of them is here's a picture of Pete it's Pete in the modern style, right? The same sort of drawing style as the rest of the Mickey Mouse, but it's black and white because he's the version from Steamboat Willie, and then it shows you the outfit from Steamboat Willie. And unfortunately, you can't wear the outfit from Steamboat Willie, but okay.
I was going to ask.
But so the whole idea is that every power you get is not combat based; it's exploration based or platforming based. So there's for example, the grappling hook that you get later on. And by the way, not a surprise, you will see the grappling hooks, and it's very clear, the spots you can actually grapple to very early on, and it's very clear because they mark that area with a rainbow because it's like a gemstone that's giving off light, and it's clearly in the arc of a swing. Mickey gets a yo-yo. Minnie gets an actual grappling hook. For some reason, Goofy's items are all food-based. Don't know when that was a thing, because honestly, if I think Goofy, I think sports, because there was a lot of cartoons back in the day that was sports-related. Because they didn't have the voice actor for Goofy anymore, so they would just use old clips of him screaming, and they could have a person talk over top to explain the sport to Goofy. That was a real thing.
I didn't know that.
Yes. They had all the archived clips, so that's what they did. And I think it's actually, in other countries, he's his own character. Sports Goofy is his own character. Disney got really weird for a while. Anyways, so he gets a sausage link, and Donald, it actually makes sense, and it's the first item that doesn't suck for him, but he is handed a fishing rod, because it's just something that the guy's I had something planned, but I couldn't make it, so here you go, and it's a fishing rod. And that's basically how Donald gets most of his items, that the guy plans for 3 people and has a 4th.
Donald's just the extra guy, Dad.
Yeah. It's a really well done game. It is not a cakewalk like I expected it to be. It is not punishing, but it is challenging. That'll come up in another game I've played this week. However, I'm going to talk about Sonic Superstars first, which is also a bit different because lives aren't a thing anymore in Sonic Superstars. Sonic Superstars is basically, hey, remember when Sonic 4 came out and it wasn't what you wanted? This is what you wanted, basically. It's a 2D Sonic game that uses 3D aspects. I can answer questions, but in particulars, I guess. But for the most part, that kind of explains the exact experience you're getting. You run into the background at certain points, like it's Wario Land 3D. There's some neat stuff where it's like you can tell the area you're running through is curved. So if you press up on the control stick, he starts to run into the curve of the background of the cave, and then you can run up the wall and then get into higher platforms. The Emerald powers are interesting. In fact, I'm going to say it right now. I think it's one of my favorite Emerald stages. So if you go back to the sort of Emerald stages, a lot of them have been tubes that you run down. And then there's the Sonic CD one that they redid, basically made better in Sonic Mania, which is the UFO chase down to get the Chaos Emerald. I really like that. In this one, it's a grappling hook. You are swinging and you're timing your arc to get closer, and you're sort of chasing this emerald through this these floating shapes that are just in this extra dimensional space. It's really cool. I was really impressed by that. I'm really surprised at how good this game is. There's some stuff though that I'm not a huge fan of. There's this one part in the first stage where they sort of redo the whale chase. Way cooler. Thank God it's not a whale anymore. And they do it in 2D this time, and I'm like, okay, fine. But there's a certain jump that is hard to make without taking damage. Again, the punishment's minimal, but still. And bosses, I read somewhere that bosses can take up to 6 minutes. And I was like, oh boy, right. I know why. And it's a weird, this has been the consistent problem with Sonic games for decades now, is that unlike Mario, who has power-ups that changes the way that Mario plays, Sonic doesn't have that. Sonic has shields and speed-ups. So a lot of it comes down to the way Sonic feels and moves, and that is a essential part of Sonic. And for the most part, this game does really well at capturing how Sonic should feel in my head. I don't have as big of a sensitivity to it as a lot of crazier Sonic fans. But Sonic 4, for example, doesn't feel right. It's never felt right. So it is nice to have a game that feels good. The problem is that when you get to a boss, the big thing with bosses is that they would have very brief invincibility frames, which meant that you could sort of bounce Sonic on some of the boss battles as many times as you could with just keep aiming him, keep controlling him while he's in the air to kind of stay on top of usually Robotnik's little buggy or whatever, bouncing on top of that to keep doing damage. And that would make boss battles really simple. In this game, there are complete phases that the bosses have, so you bounce off, and you cannot bounce on him again until he is ready to be bounced on. And that is a problem because it slows the game down to a crawl. If I'm a better player, that should be there for people that can't manage to control Sonic, can't finesse Sonic back into hitting the enemy again off of the rebound. So it's a bit odd that way. So I'm assuming that the next boss in level 2 will have the same issue, because the first boss had that, and I was like, oh boy, this is a treat. There's a weird multiplayer mode that I have not engaged with that you build robots, and I'm like, great, I'm so glad this is online. Why can't I just play with a friend? But whatever. There's a lot to collect in the stages too. There's a lot to. It's not just about getting an S rank. It's about getting to certain areas in the stages, and I love that type of stuff in Sonic, because a game that does make you go fast, asking you to slow down and kind of do precise platforming during that, I love that. And this game has that already. Yeah, by no means is it going to win over people that don't like Sonic, though. And I have to keep telling people that, you know what I mean? With all Sonic games, this is for Sonic fans, very clearly. And I did play as the beta rabbit design, and it is charming, and I love it.
That's what I played as. I'm also playing the game, and I mirror everything you said. I really don't like the boss fights. Like, they're
I
frustrating.
don't mind the boss fight. I mind the fact that I can't hit it more than once.
That's what I'm saying. Is like, I'll like I got to the first ball. Like, I've only played like an hour of it, but I got to that first Robotnik, and like I have to wait on him to do something to be able
to the other
attack
side.
him. Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't like that.
and that's a terrible design. Of like, that is not how any other Sonic game has worked. So I don't like, maybe the 3D games, but the 3D games usually also force your character away from the enemy significantly to make you go through like an obstacle course to get back. So yeah, I don't fully comprehend that design decision. And the last game I have played is a significant amount of Mario Wonder. I'm on World 6.
Dang.
he's the one that's
man
furthest.
is moving.
Yeah, you're way further along than I am.
This is by far the hardest Mario game, hardest 2D Mario game they've released in a long time.
But it's so good.
It's so good.
That is. I'm also going to say it's the best 2D Mario in a long time, because like, outside of the first New Super Mario Brothers, boy, did I lose interest in that series.
Yeah, I'm not like, that was my big concern coming into this game, was that I was afraid it was going to be New Super Mario Brothers, and while I think they're fine, they're way at the bottom of my tier list of Mario games.
See, I'm going to be the contrarian then, that says that, because I mostly play this game multiplayer, and I'm going to say that as excellent as the game is so far, and it might change, but so far it feels like the new Super Mario games were better for multiplayer.
That might be true.
Yeah, that could be true for sure.
Especially because it feel you can't purposely bubble yourself, at least not that I've found. I guess it would be turn yourself into a ghost in this one. But you can't, like in the old games, if you were playing multiplayer and you got to a part where you knew that one player would be able to successfully complete easier than others, the other players could purposely put themselves in a bubble so that the one player could make it through that section, and then they could, tag them to get them back in. And you can't do that as far as I can see in this one.
I think I know why. I think it's because they added Yoshi.
That could be why. But and just weird stuff, like for example so the bubble thing is another good example. So in the other games, if you got off the screen, well, in this game the screen seems to follow one player, and I don't remember the other ones doing that. Like, it'll put a little crown over your head to designate who the screen's following. And so if the other player gets off the screen too far, it puts you in the ghost. But if you're in the ghost for too long, you end up losing a life without getting back to the other player. Whereas in the other games, it would just put you in a bubble, and you could stay in a bubble the entire level if you wanted to. And then the other weird thing that I noticed was that it might be because the characters and everything are so much bigger. It seems like it makes the screen space feel smaller, which is challenging when you have more than one player. I also don't like the fact that. So I like the fact that you don't you can run through each other now. So there's no collision between the players if you're playing multiplayer. But the downside of that is, in the new Super Mario games, you could bounce to the other player off your head to get to a higher area. You can't do that anymore.
I can explain that one for sure. So this game has added a new feature that is kind of brilliant, but I think because the new Super Mario Brothers games have been the 2D Mario for over a decade, which is weird to say. God, oh my God, it's like almost been 20 years of New Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
So now they've added badges, and badges are modifiers.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the badges give you extra jumping power. I will not explain how they do that because there are a couple different ways, but a lot of abilities return from other games, but you can only use one at a time. And it's a shame that I know for a fact multiplayer you can't all set different badges.
But yeah,
that sucks.
so that gets to the next complaint that I have is that so for example, we were playing last night and my wife prefers jump on A and dash on dash or fire flower or whatever on B. And my sort of default tends to be dash or fire flower on Y and jump on B or jump on B. And you can't set that individually. So if you change in the controls in the setting, it changes it for every player.
Oh,
you can't set it. You can't set it individually per player, at least not that I've found. Now, maybe there's a way that I'm just not aware of, but if you go into settings and change the controls, it changes it for everybody. So yeah, I think I haven't played the game by myself yet. I haven't played it as a single player game yet. So I'm reserving my judgment on the game as a whole until I have an opportunity to play it single player, because it feels like it's built to be a single player game that they also let you play with more than one player, whereas the new Super Mario games were basically built from the ground up to be multiplayer games.
I agree
so
with that.
and so the hype in our house was for it as a multiplayer game, and it's I don't think it's as good yet.
I'm gonna say, like, some of the later stages, some of the stages I have done have been hard enough by myself that I cannot imagine. Now, obviously, you can't bump into each other like you used to, thank God, but, like, some of the stages are so freaking difficult. Like, when I say this is like the hardest Mario game 2D Mario game I've played in a while, I mean it is. Early on, it gets to be as like to 100% of the level, it gets as difficult as some of the crazy shit in Mario World. Like, I'm talking the Star World area. And
this feels more like a successor to Mario World, Mario 3 than it does a successor to Mario's New Super Mario Brothers.
Yes. It feels very much, I mean, it is Mario. When you look at the game map, when you actually get into like the sort of main area, the game is sort of set up like Mario World. You got the, center area where Bowser is, and like, I think it's the sunken ship in Mario World was what was in the center of the map, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the big ship, yeah.
So like it's got that sort of setup. Again, lots of hidden levels and exits. So one of the things I thought was neat was that the amount of characters, but I'm torn because like they don't play differently anymore. No. And that was a thing. I know why they don't, but it's sort of disappointing that way. It also sucks that I can't play Nabbit and get powers. I want to just play Nabbit. He's my favorite character. He's adorable. I do like the fact that Yoshi plays like Yoshi would play, though. Where like Yoshi can stick out his tongue and swallow enemies, and other people can ride on Yoshi to do platforming sections. But
The different
Yoshi
colors have
can't.
different powers?
No,
Oh,
the
okay.
different colors are just different colors, so multiple people can play.
Gotcha.
But like, the weird part is like Yoshi is invincible. Yoshi doesn't take damage, so the better player has to be Yoshi, I believe, or maybe not. I don't know how that works because I'm not playing 2-player, but somehow another player can ride Yoshi, and I don't know who takes control at that point.
It's whoever is playing as Yoshi.
Right, so yeah, the better player has to be Yoshi, but the better player is now playing the character that can't die. That's a little weird for me.
Yeah, in my experience too, it's very easy to accidentally end up on Yoshi's back when someone else is playing as Yoshi.
Okay.
With that many buttons, you think they would just make it a button?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm pretty far. Is there any questions, I guess? Because I'm, like, clipping through this game pretty quick. I'm not getting everything. I try, but good lord, some of these stages are such a...
I think I failed on, like, the first non-100% I did was in one of the underground levels, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna keep going.
No, the first one you've probably failed was the singing piranha plants, which is, like, the third stage of the game, which, by the way...
That's so good.
One of my favorite things ever in a game.
It's pretty cool.
Like even the little tune they sing is bop bip bop, and I'm like, yep, that's catchy. And I had to go through that multiple times because I was missing something to get the green check mark.
My God, the music in this game is so good.
Yep.
So I said something to Ken. Ken, I did get to one of those.
Yes, I know what you're talking about, yeah.
I hated it.
I don't think I've ever... they've never been my favorite, but like...
No, but I mean, like, this one was even more annoying.
Yeah, but you can't have a Mario without one, though, so...
Correct. I'm gonna say... See, I don't want to... Any questions, I guess, is the thing. Like, I'm basically on the last world, I believe.
Dag. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what waits for me after the game is done. I hope to God nothing, because if going off of previous Mario games, including New Super Mario Brothers, Mario 3D World, Mario 3D World, and Super Mario Odyssey, there is harder shit after the ending, which makes me terrified because some of these stages are a nightmare already. There's enough for you to get through the game without too many problems, but it requires you to finish every stage at least to keep going. I have been trying to get at least both. I guess the best explanation is that every stage you get a Wonder Seed, for anybody that doesn't know, and you get another Wonder Seed for finishing. When you grab the Wonder Flower and the world gets weird, you get a Wonder Seed for finishing those.
And if the level has multiple exits, you get a Wonder Seed for each.
For every exit, yeah.
I didn't even realize that. Okay.
Yeah, Wonder Seeds are basically just have you finish the level. The only one that you ever get that isn't is the Wonder Flower. But generally, I find that some levels you don't really get a choice. Like, it's more work to get around the Wonder Flower, and there's no point of skipping it. It's almost, I wish it was just something that happened. Like, I wish it wasn't a collectible necessarily, because most of the time I'm like, I wouldn't play this stage any other way.
Yeah. I've played a couple that have been, well, actually only been like one.
There's one that I can think of where you have to go through it once regular and once with the Wonder Seed. That's it.
Oh, dang.
But there's new mechanics. Like, one of my favorite mechanics are these floors and ceilings that automatically move. So it's like a grind rail for Mario. And I'm like, well, these should have been in this game way sooner. Because he moves super fast on those. And then when you jump, he'll grab onto the bottom of one and hold on to it as it's moving. brilliant. Like this game just makes me go, this is what we should have had for all those years where they didn't feel like they were changing enough in New Super Mario Brothers. Like, New Super Mario Brothers Wii U could have just been New Super Mario Brothers Luigi U or whatever, where there was enough change to make it kind of its own experience. I don't know. There's just a lot to this. Like, so as a fan of animation, clearly, because I'm playing it also a Disney game and enjoying that, the animation in this game is so amazing. Mario goes into a pipe. His hat is behind. He grabs his hat before he goes into the pipe.
The animation's great.
When you're Elephant Mario, he pushes himself into the pipe head first.
Yep.
And squeezes through. If you get to the end of a level as Elephant Mario and you have water in your trunk, he will blow a little rainbow.
Nice.
There's nothing. You don't get anything for it. It's just a weird thing that if you have water in the trunk at the end of the level, he blows a little rainbow.
That's a Mario thing, though. Like the fireworks and getting the
yeah,
top of the flagpole.
Speaking of which, did you notice that? I noticed that on the first level. There's no timer.
Yeah, no timer.
I was like, when did Mario stop having a timer? Because I realized that.
I don't know. This game is like everything I've been waiting for from the new Super Mario Brothers series. It's got tons of character. Every world that you sort of visit, that's not the correct terminology. Every area that you visit, they've done something kind of nice where it doesn't play the exact, like how you progress through the levels is completely different everywhere you go. I am just dumbstruck with how much weird crap is in this game. Like it almost feels like Nintendo didn't make it at times. Like I'm like, how did they allow someone to do this with Mario? Some of the Wonder Flower events are so bonkers. I could not have pictured, like, just some of this is like, I can't believe someone's doing this in a platforming game at all. Like, I would have never thought of that. Then, oh my god, last night eventually there's like a badge that you'll get, and you'll probably say the same thing. I'm not going to say what it is, but like, I'm just like, that's in a Mario game? Really? Okay. I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that was a thing we were doing, and it was instantly replaced with something that I'm like, well, I'm just going to use this to cheat, because one of the powers, not spoiling anything, just gives you a double jump. In this game that I'm having a really hard time platforming with, thanks. That and the stupid first badge that is literally the hat.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, gonna tell you right now, there's so you do certain challenges for certain badges, and then they'll do another one later on where it's like that badge, but it's like an obstacle course for that badge number 2, and the second one for the hat, the hat parachute thing. Oh my god, I'm so glad they don't take away lives for those, because it was very hard to do this one specific jump in that. And once I was done that, I was fine. But getting through that jump to get that purple coin, yeah. I keep doing this. I keep going, I'm going to play a bit. I'll play for like 2 hours straight and then be like, I'm just done with this right now. I'm so irritated. But that's it for me. Like, I mean, I have been playing a lot of games, and most of them are platformers. The only other thing I got to say is that right now on Humble Bundle, there is from Dark Horse Comics, a creepy comics collection. Normally I wouldn't call out something like this, but it includes Creepy Presents Bernie Wrightson, and that digital comic, that collection, has two of the scariest comics I've ever read. So if you're looking for something to read during Halloween, that is a great bundle to pick up. The creepy comics are, I think, pre-code. So they were doing like Tales from the Crypt type stuff, but like crazier than you remember. Anyways, that's it for me. I've talked enough.
No, you covered the two biggest games, I think, that we could talk about this week, and that's good because I love Mario. I need to play more Sonic. So
yeah, me too. I knew Sonic was going to end up on the back burner when Mario came out. I didn't think it was going to hit the back burner for Illusion Island, but there is something about this. Just how I forgot to mention that game has like a symphonic soundtrack that just screams classic Disney. Like, it made me feel the visuals not so much, but it reminded me of like playing Castle of Illusion on Genesis, which is still one of the best Disney games ever made. Looks like a cartoon, and like now I'm playing an actual cartoon, and just amazing score.
All right. I'll wrap this up pretty quickly. I'm not going to go into the indie games because there was really nothing that grabbed me this week. Unfortunately, it was a lot of the same old shit, like disappointing wise. But I did play through the entirety of the High on Knife DLC for High on Life.
And how was that?
Motherfucker, holy shit, that is hilarious.
Well, the guy who voices the knife, I think, is the same guy who did the what is it? Rick and Morty Bushworld Adventures, which is the Australian version that's like a short on YouTube. And that's a must watch. He also, I think, is the guy from Smiling Friends.
Dude.
Oh, that show's good too.
Dude, I will be talking about this for a long time. Might be one of the greatest moments in funny video games. But the fact that there's a Cheers parody in a giant ass. And it's called Cheeks. Cheeks. Did you stay for the whole thing? Did you get the credits?
I didn't stay for the whole thing. I figured I would come back later and stay for the whole thing because that was before I realized how short that DLC was.
Dude, I stayed for the whole thing. I watched. I got the credits. I spit germs on Frasier.
I'm sorry,
yes,
Kelsey Grammer.
Yes, like he's the only human in the bar.
Yes, and they make mention of it in the theme song because it totally has a Cheers theme song as they're presenting it.
And there's no Justin Roiland in this?
No. Kenny's gone in the DLC.
Not a shame.
But and the new gun is fantastic.
He wasn't even my favorite gun.
The pinball gun is fucking amazing.
I told you, it's so good.
JB Smoove was, in my opinion, the best gun in that game.
Yeah. He's still hilarious.
Still hilarious.
That's not surprised.
Let him talk.
But that disc that rebounds between enemies.
Oh, dude, you ain't seen nothing. The pinball gun. Its special ability is it drops bumpers on the ground, and you can just fucking annihilate people.
All right.
Yeah.
I might give this a shot.
It's so, oh man, it's short, and that's like I talked about it in a review because it's a super. I did not expect it to end and then it's supposed to be like horror based, but there's nothing really scary about it.
That's a joke.
I got the jump scare when the lights went out, and then like they came on, and that fucking two-headed thing was staring at me. I was like, oh Jesus.
That did get me. Yeah, that did get me. But overall, it's good. It's really funny.
I do have one gripe, and that is the chainsaw riding is a little wonky.
It is, and they rely on that for boss fights, especially the last boss fight. And you'll die because the execution of that is jacked up, not because you necessarily messed something up. So yeah, I feel you on that.
Yeah, that was my one gripe. Is that mechanic is not. It's not really it's more frustrating than it is fun. And the thing is like every other mechanic in that game is super fun. Like the guns and the shooting and all that stuff is really fun. But when you've got to use that, like when you're going through the complex at the end and you've got to destroy each of the organs, and I'm like, dude, I got to follow this trail, and like I'm confused and I get lost, and it's like, But I did like...
You can slow down.
Yeah, you can brake.
Okay,
yeah. But I did love, and this was, man, the nod to God of War was cracking me the fuck up. And then when you finish the game, when Knifey's like, what do you think? You want to go out and 100% this bitch? Let's go.
Yep. Yeah. It's really funny. It was really well done. If you liked High on Life, it was good.
Yeah. I really, really enjoyed this DLC. And you're right, it is. I think it took me like 2 hours to finish it.
Yep.
So.
Me too. It was, and because I skipped some of the sad stuff again because I was like, oh man, I got to finish this because I got to review it. And I was like, well, damn, that just blew by. What the heck? So,
yeah, I did. I stuck around for the entire episode of Cheers, so I did that whole thing. I was like, I got to see all of this all the way through.
I'm gonna go back because it was super. The bit that I stayed for was super funny, so I'm gonna go back.
Oh man, there's a sequence where where the patrons wants you to race around the bar.
Nice. These are all slug people too.
Yeah, they're all slugs, and then when you win, he's like, "You went the wrong way. You're disqualified. You're disqualified. I win." Oh, it's so funny. It is so funny. Oh man, but no, I really enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun. Glad I went back to that. But yeah, that's kind of it. I've been playing Mario, been playing Sonic, been playing a game I can't tell you about, which is fucking weird. But whatever. Talk about that next week. But that's it. Let's do some new release. I still got the Lobster Johnson page open.
Lobster Johnson. Dude, that comic is great. Anthony, do you read Lobster Johnson?
No, I don't read a lot from the Hellboy universe.
Oh, okay. See,
I like Mike Mignola's art. I wish he did the interiors more often. I have oh my god. I have Detective Gollum to read, which is not Hellboy related, but also Mike Mignola. And I really liked Radio Spaceman.
I haven't heard of that. I haven't looked
Radio
up.
Spaceman is about a guy who like remote controls the bodies of these dead bodies that he sends into space. So he's a radio spaceman. He clues in, and there's like a skeleton inside a spacesuit that he controls.
Nice. I'm gonna look this up. All right. I knew. So we got.
It's time for new releases, and holy shit, it just it does not slow down. I will tell you that. We've got SpongeBob SquarePants: The Cosmic Shake, which is the next gen update. EA Sports UFC 5 dropping this week. Just Dance 2024 edition Code in a Box. That's a new thing. Metal Gear Solid: The Master Collection, Volume 1, out on Tuesday. Metal Gear. Hey, I figured it out, by the way.
Metal Gear. Oh, nice.
There you go.
Hey.
Pickleball Smash. That's the big game this week. Regular Factory Escape Room. Stray Souls. Swap Shot. The Inheritance of Crimson Manor. Frog Detective, the entire mystery. Ghost Runner 2, which is going to be forgotten very fast.
Yep.
Strategic Mind, Spirit of Liberty. A little game called Alan Wake 2 is going to destroy your console and your PC this week.
Yep.
Desolatium. DreamWorks Trolls Remix Rescue.
What the heck?
I don't know.
Right.
I totally forgot, but did you remember there's a DreamWorks kart game coming up with fucking Shrek in it? I forgot that was even coming out.
I saw that. Yep, I saw that on the store on Xbox, and I was like, damn, I forgot that was a thing. Okay. I feel like it's a Game Mill game.
Oh, God. Halloween Pinball, Haunted House, Hero Survival, Star Trek Resurgence, and Terminator Resistance: The Complete Edition. In case you didn't complete it. Oh, excuse me. All right,
Game.
PlayStation 5 is mostly the same stuff, but we also have Very Bad Dreams Do Not Fall Into Madness.
Okay.
This list is wrong. City Skylines 2 is not coming to console this week. This hasn't been updated, obviously. Coffee Talk, Single Shot Edition. Coffee Talk plus Coffee Talk Episode 2, Hibiscus and Butterfly Double Shot Bundle.
Wasn't that a SNL skit?
That's why when I say that, I can't. I try not to do the accent, but I always want to go Coffee Talk. Coffee Talk. Cry Machina. Operation Wolf Returns First Mission Rescue Edition. Oh, this is out this week? The Lord of the Rings Return to Moria is out this week?
Only on PC, because I think the PlayStation 5 version got delayed.
Oh, okay.
What is this game?
Isn't it the dwarf?
It's like, yeah, the dwarf. It's like Ark, basically.
Yeah, survival
Oh
game.
no,
Survival
it's not
games.
like Ark. It's the it's the Space Miners ones.
Like Deep Rock Galactic?
Thank you.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
the
but
game.
you're-
That's the game they're trying to emulate, though. That's the one. I remember this now. That's right. You're a team. You're like a team of 4 dwarves, but not in space. Who?
In Moria. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
You
gonna
didn't
be
do
honest
it?
with you.
You didn't do it?
Space!
Oh, there we go.
There it is. There it is.
Vertigo 2. There's a new Postal game out this week called Brain Damaged.
Man, why are they still? You know what? It's fine.
Just go with it. Ghostbusters: Rise of the Ghost Lord. Is that DLC for some? Or is
The
that a
VR one.
A VR. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a VR game. Miniko's Night Market and World of Horror. And I think that's it for the differences. Let's check PS4, Xbox One. The little boy consoles now we call them. Dinosaurs Mission Dino Camp. Umero Uram. I don't even know what that is. Werewolf the Apocalypse, Heart of the Forest. Everything else looks the same. Xbox One. All the same. Let's get on with the Switch.
Oh, Lord.
Switch is where it's at. Space Games, Galaxy Attack, Archetype Arcadia, Dreams of Geisha, Golf Hole in 2, okay. Springtime Hike,
Nice.
A Perfect Day, Animal Kart Racer 2, Comet Striker DX, Dave the Diver, making its way to Switch this week.
Oh, nice.
Probably the most anticipated game of the week, Dog.
I don't know this game.
It's just called Dog. It's all capital
Everybody
letters.
wants that dog.
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 I'm looking. Is it dog or is it dog?
No, it's just DOG, all capital letters. That's what it's called. Even if Tempest Dawning Connections. I just
Okay.
read, man. I just read.
Okay, so dog. It's I don't fully comprehend how this is not just. I'm gonna say Ludo, but if anybody, it's sorry or frustration, but it's just played with cards rather than dice.
Mm.
So
Alright.
I guess it's an actual board game because it's a registered trademark. So
All right. Get me
you
out.
know what? I have it nailed down. It's you're playing sorry, but using Uno cards.
I swear I thought he was saying like a Japanese name, like sorry, with his
No,
accent.
sorry.
It's sorry.
Sorry. Sorry. Yeah.
Get me out, please. Gordian Quest. Great Ambition of the Slimes. Hana-
I think I know that game. Give me a second.
The next one is Hana Awase New Moon Himitsugi Volume.
So
Oh, I've been waiting for that one.
I know you have.
Good Lord.
So yes, great
Always some
ambition
bullshit on
of
these
the
fucking
slimes. I believe existed on 3DS as well. It is it's a tactical RPG where you control the slimes and you have to kill a bunch of people.
Okay.
You I think some of them you can swallow them. I think some of them you jump inside the person too and control them. It's weird. It's a weird game. Also, Get Me Out Please looks like a horror stealth game.
Man, I'm going to tell you this right now. Like, I scrolled down, and I'm still on the same day, and there's so many games here. So we also have Hello Kitty and Friends Happiness Parade, Horror Gallery, Horror Tale 2, Samantha, Illuminaria, Lumiere Magna, wow, I'm going to butcher this one, Nyanzu and Kumakichi, Let's Make a Flower Garden.
Wow.
Okay.
Paintball 3, Candy Match Factory. I don't know what those two things have to do with each other, but okay. Paper Dash, Ghost Hunt, Seaside Driving, Space Storeship, Spin Rhythm XD, Trip World DX. Those are two different games. Varinji, Don't Touch the Berries.
Don't touch them.
Wet Steps, World of
Oh,
Horror,
man.
Yahtzee, but not spelled the way you think.
Oh, shoot.
Okay, that's all for that day. Let's go to the next day. 30 sports games in one, Alive Paint, Barbie Dreamhouse Adventures, Bratz Flaunt Your Fashion, Disney Dreamlight Valley Cozy Edition, Grotto, Kraken Odyssey, Murder is Game Over, and Save the World. There you go.
Nope.
I just don't understand Switch sometimes. I just don't. Okay, that's fine.
It's not for you to understand.
It's not. It is not.
Alright, let's do the news. Nintendo news. New update for F-Zero 99 launches. It's already launched, it looks like, including King League for Grand Prix mode, 3 new courses, including Firefield. These are the final new tracks. More updates are planned for the future.
Nice. I have to check it out.
Kevin Afghani is the new voice of Mario and Luigi in Super Mario Bros. Wonder. So now you can all stop talking about who's going to be the new voice of Mario.
You know, I didn't notice a difference outside.
I didn't notice much of a difference either.
I mean,
honestly.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, how hard is it to say "Wahoo"? You know?
Right.
You know what? Listen, I understood the concern.
Sure.
I did. Right? Because we have listened to this man for the last almost 30 years be Mario.
True. Okay. Yeah.
That being said, anyone that says that they noticed a difference in the trailers either watched that trailer too many times or is insane, because I just do not hear that much of a difference. This guy, that almost like, good voice actors, he can nail the voice. Like, I know it's not a lot, but he sounds fantastic.
Yep.
And I'm going to be honest with you, the thought that Charles Martinet would have to say "wowie zowie," I'm glad he doesn't have to do that. I'm happy for the man that he didn't have to go "wowie zowie" in the Mario voice into a mic. That's not what I want to see like a 60-year-old man do, because I'll just feel bad.
Weirdo.
That's a young man's thing.
Some weirdo out there is going to ask him to do it on Cameo or something, all right?
Oh, they definitely are.
Well, listen, hey, if the man gets paid, good for him.
Yeah,
right. Get your bag.
I'm not afraid. Like, that's up to him at that point, and I accept that. But if he's like, I'm coming in to do Mario voiceovers, and they're like, can you say "wowie zowie"? What's he going to say to Nintendo? No.
He'll be like, yeah, you wrote me a paycheck. Let's do this.
I mean, probably. But anyways, yeah, no, the new guy's fantastic. I love the voice of the flowers too. Don't know who that is.
Yeah, I really like that voice.
I do too. Yeah, and I saw where people were like, you can mute them, I guess, but I saw where there was a mod where you can make them say dirty things too.
There's some stuff that they say, like, I watched one fall to his death. I should have caught him.
Nintendo has apparently unlisted the original Switch reveal video from 2016. Who the fuck notices this shit?
What?
Like,
right? Like, who was looking at? Oh, let me see if they still got that video up. For what?
I
That's
don't
wild.
I don't know. There's probably some music in there that they don't have the license to, or anyway. Like, who cares?
There was a very specific song that I ended up listening to a couple times because I was like, this can't be from Nintendo, so I'm not. That's probably it. Yep. Even though that's still weird.
Yeah, it is weird. People are weird. People read too much into things. Xbox news. Phil went on the official Xbox podcast this week to talk about all things ABK because that's the big news. He's over there visiting with all the teams currently. He says don't expect any of the games to hit Game Pass until 2024. Call of Duty is apparently going to be 100% content parity across all systems. That's it's kind of a slap, I think, more than anything else. It's like, we own it, but we're still going to be cool.
Right.
And Phil is all in if teams want to work on old IPs again, which he specifically mentioned Hexen, because Phil's an OG. Let's get some Hexen in there.
Well, they do have id.
Yep, and now they own the Hexen IP.
And hey, I'm just... Give me a moment here. Hey Phil, Doom RPG and Wolfenstein RPG, thanks.
They ain't doing that.
Don't kill my vibe.
Oh man.
Also, really would like that Wolfenstein 2009 to be backwards compatible.
Man, if they could get so if they don't capitalize on this, like Hasbro was out there saying we need to bring them Transformers games back, like. Just make them backwards compatible.
That's one where I'm like, look, that might take some time.
Sure, but you now have all the parts. You have Raven Software. Well, whatever's left of Raven Software after doing Call of Duty stuff. You have the Wolfenstein IP. Like you have Activision. That's all three pieces to bring back that period of time where Activision and id were entangled with one another. Yep, all of those games can come back, and also while you're at it, let's get Singularity back up in this bitch.
That's one that should be even easier because it's literally just Activision.
Mm-hmm. Activision raised some prices on their games in Brazil on Steam. Brazil, Argentina, and Turkey. Sorry. And then Pete Hines, head of publishing at Bethesda, has announced his retirement. So he is now.
Yeah, I read that.
Yeah, he's leaving in, I think, November. Sony news. Sony has a patented new PlayStation controller that stores and charges your wireless earbuds.
Cool, I'm so glad that battery pack in that controller that already probably doesn't last very long had now charged my headphones.
Does anybody actually use earbuds to game?
I'm sure there are.
I do on my PlayStation.
Really?
That's there you go.
Yeah, because I can use my my Beats wireless earbuds work on my PlayStation with a Bluetooth adapter. So
this just further enforces the private plane stereotype that you have fucking Beats earbuds.
Oh, hold on now. Beats have not been.
I'm just kidding.
These Beats earbuds I got on sale for $49.99.
That's right.
That's still expensive for earbuds, man.
No,
it's not.
It is to me. I'm an old man.
AirPods are what, like $200?
Dude, yes. I would never buy an AirPod.
AirPods also though have a flat sound. I'm gonna go off on things no one cares about. Never mind.
Dude, fucking.
Actually, while I'm fronting, I got a pair of Beats. I have Beats ear that I use. I don't use when I game. I use when I'm on the phone. I use it for that. But yeah,
I use mine. I use mine. Mine go back and forth between my phone, my
your Switch.
PS5.
I use mine for Switch.
Yeah, I don't actually use them on my Switch.
Okay.
I could, but I don't use them on my Switch. But I do use them on my PS5 and my phone, and occasionally, I'll use them on something else if I need to, like our exercise bike or something. But normally, I keep them to just those two.
I literally have a pair of $19.99 Bluetooth earbuds that I use to work on the yard. Like I got from Best Buy. I don't even know what brand they are because I don't give a fuck. They work.
I actually don't mind my ONN headphones from Walmart. They seem to be okay, but like Beats have not been the high end. Well, they were never the high end sound, but they were the high end price point. And then Apple bought them and took their wireless tech for the Apple AirPods. So Beats are kind of their like sport range now. Like, hey, you want something that's less expensive because you might damage them. Beats is the option.
Basically, Dre got paid. That's what we're saying.
I mean, well, they also bought. No one remembers this, but do you remember Beats Music?
No.
Exactly. Beats Music was like one of the first competitors to Spotify.
Was it exclusive to Zune? Like what?
No, it was its own thing, and Apple bought it, and Beats Music went away. But Beats Music had a whole bunch of artists sign on and have exclusive stuff on Beats Music. They would have like, I knew it because I was a big Nine Inch Nails fan at the time. Like Trent Reznor had like a little bit of a show, I guess, that he would put on. Just like an hour's worth of content, and it would be music that he chose and stuff. And it was a really interesting setup. And then Apple bought it to open up their own service that's very similar. Isn't that weird?
It's crazy. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a smart move. Beats maybe wouldn't have been able to compete with Apple, but Apple saw value in Beats. So,
also a rumor that the new PlayStation 5 Slim is going to have a Spider-Man bundle on November 8th and a non-bundle version on November 10th. Those are the rumored release dates.
It's still very expensive for me, and I will be passing on that, but thank you.
Yeah, that thing is so expensive.
Well, it's more expensive up here in Canada where they've raised the price.
Well, they raised the price down here for the digital version too, so.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be getting the digital version.
You gonna buy that?
Stumbled into my word there.
Fucking modular Blu-ray drive, plug in on the side.
It's not even that. It's just like I'm gonna end up buying a drive anyways, so might as well just buy it all at once.
Lies of P sold 1 million copies. That's a lot for a game on Game Pass.
Yeah.
Minecraft has surpassed 300 million copies. Jesus.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Armored Core 6 has sold 2.8 million. Monster Hunter Now surpassed 10 million downloads. Starfield launched day one in Game Pass and was still the best-selling game in the U.S. last month. Starfield is already the 7th best-selling game in 2023. Lead platform was PC. So, it's very funny that it breaks the narrative of like, people don't buy games that are on Game Pass. There's 2 games on this list that are on Game Pass that sold a lot of copies. Halo Infinite Season 5 launch brought the concurrent players up to 18,000 again on Steam. That's the first time since March that Halo reached more than 10,000 players on Steam. Same for Battlefield 2042, which got a new update, which is now over 100,000 concurrent players on its free-to-play weekend. New releases. We've got Coral Island.
Can I pause you for a second?
Okay, what's up?
I can't believe this is a thing. Remember that 19 inches of Venom?
It was 9, wasn't it?
Was it
19.
No,
it was 19?
It's
okay.
19
inches of Venom, yeah. It's he's actually only 14 and a half.
Oh, wow.
So he was lying about his size.
It's only,
Give him a minute. Give him a minute. He's not as young as he used to be.
It's only 19 inches if you include Miles.
So Miles is only 5 inches? But that doesn't... What's wrong with Miles?
Dang, y'all really coming for Miles. Oh, poor Miles.
Just I can't believe someone was like, I'm gonna measure that my Venom statue to see if it's 19 inches.
Like, who's doing this? Like, what the heck?
You know what? You people on the internet need to stop with everything.
You really do. Just
like,
stop it.
Some of the stuff y'all doing out there is just wrong. and it shows you ain't got no job or at least no life. Like,
Again, loser behavior.
Yes.
Yeah, he said it.
Just like if you can't fap to Mary Jane, get the fuck out.
Oh, give me a break. That whole discourse was just so freaking absurd.
I keep seeing all of that. Like I saw one because I didn't even realize that Black Cat was in this game, and I saw a picture of her, and they was like, "Man, Spider-Man really dropped the bag." I'm like, "Y'all are doing the most. These are pixels.
Like these aren't real
what
people."
The fuck? Jesus Christ!
It's not even that. Like, if that's why you come to video games, like, well,
that's poor choice of words.
Hold on, let me just weave.
Hold on, wait for it.
How do you feed blood to Grandpa?
I mean, you just, like, we're just gonna breeze right past that one. But that is now forever recorded in history.
Oh my god. Listen, if that's why you play video games, like, just skip the video game and just go to the internet, you know?
I'm sorry.
I mean,
the second time I've lost it today. The first was obviously Lobster Johnson, but
Lobster Johnson. That comic is dope, man. I'm telling you, Lobster Johnson is the man.
I still picture him.
The game?
I still picture him in
he's not. He's not
in a trench coat with a very large mustache and like a fedora, and he has one big lobster hand.
Is it a 19-inch mustache?
It has to be. It's like one of those big woolly mustaches.
No, it's 14 and a half. Only 19 miles.
Oh, shit. All right. Coral Island leaving early access on November 14th. Lake Season's Greetings launches November 15th. Silent Hill Ascension premieres October 31st. Weekly episodes coming to Sony Pictures Core app on PlayStation 4 and 5.
I'm good.
Yeah, that's great to put it on a service nobody watches. Brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, everybody at least gets it for free. That's on.
No, they don't. Well, they get it for free if they pay.
You know what I mean, though.
Yeah.
Like, at least there's an audience built in, I suppose, that will probably try it out.
Dude, I looked at that app for 5 minutes and I was like, wow, the movie selection on here is terrible. Moving on. RPG Maker With was announced for Nintendo Switch. Layers of Fear 2023 is getting a free new movie-themed story chapter on October 24th, so that's out this week. Age of Empires 2 DLC The Mountain Royals launches October 31st. Newly updated Persian civilization, 3 new fully voiced campaigns, and 2 new civilization, the Georgians and the Armenians. RoboQuest getting full release on November 7th. It's also on Game Pass. Touch Detective 3, The Complete Case Files, is coming to Nintendo Switch in Q1 2024. Project Downfall coming to everything except for PlayStation in November. Also got Babylon X announced for unspecified consoles and PC, the first game from Mighty Boy Studio. The Walking Dead Destinies launches November 17th for everything, and it's from Game Mill, y'all.
And you know what? I read about that, and it sounds like I'm down with the premise, but then I saw it was from Game Mill, and I was like, oh god, dog, this is gonna be ass. Cause like you play through, I guess, from the show, but you can flip up the perspective. So like, does Shane lead? You can have Shane lead the group instead of Rick, and like Rick gets killed. Like that's kind of that's cool.
Have you seen the quality of that King Kong? That King Kong game looks fucking fire.
Nigga, it looked like it should be set on fire. Like, nah, player, that's not it. Like, that's what I thought of when I saw it. I was like, oh, that's Game Mill. I'll pass. Like,
it's funny because I actually they were on sale.
Buy it.
No.
Oh, okay. Me and Anthony bought the Popeye game, so y'all can kiss my ass.
I only bought it because you had bought. No. It's one of the worst pieces of shit I've ever played. Like if a student in high school handed to me, it's wow, impressive. I'm surprised somebody made that in high school. The fact that it is out for sale, but I bought Marsupilami there, and a Smurfs game, which I, not where I normally Mission
Vileaf, yeah.
Yeah.
That game's all right.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that's no, it's Microids. I'm like, oh,
yeah,
Microids. Microids only has like one real bad game under their belt, and that's the 13 remaster. So
yeah, Microids is all right.
A bit.
All right, couple delays. Phasmophobia console version has been delayed again to an unannounced date.
Dang.
And Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2 has been slightly delayed to November 7th.
Game Mill.
Harebrained Schemes and Paradox Interactive will part ways on January 1st, 2024. Paradox will keep ownership over Harebrained Schemes made games like the Lamplighters League and other titles. If you don't have time to play Alan Wake 1 before Alan Wake 2 comes out this week, no problem. Epic announced Alan Wake Flashback, a Fortnite Alan Wake experience where you can experience all of the important moments. And there's Alan Wake skins coming to Fortnite.
Sweet.
Just watch a YouTube video.
I mean, right. But I am excited for that. Oh, man.
Oh, for you retro people, here we go. Analog has announced Analog 3D, which is an N64 machine which plays all of the games in 4K, coming in 2024.
I'm curious to see how well done that is, because N64 emulation is okay at best.
Yep. Well, it'll also be very interesting to see how much.
Yeah, I'd love an analog pocket. I don't have one.
God, those things are so expensive, man.
Yeah, it's the last Game Boy you'll ever need, though, too. So,
Netflix is looking to license Grand Theft Auto game for its service. Good luck with that. Armadillo won the Minecraft mob vote, so Armadillo.
The ridiculous Minecraft mod vote when they could have just added all three with no problems.
Yeah, like what the heck?
Stupid.
The Van Gogh Museum will no longer distribute the Pikachu with gray felt hat promo card due to safety and security concerns. That sounds like a made-up sentence.
Yeah, they've had some weird. I got an email from Pokemon. I don't remember why Pokemon has my email, but they do. Probably something to do with the card game. And
which one? Which Pokemon has your email?
I knew that was the joke. That you hear the nothing. You hear the nothing I gave you for that. You should feel bad. I want to say that they were giving out something else too. And then they put all of it on pause, and then they're like, "Yeah, you can go and get your plush again or whatever." I don't know. Weird. When I think, like, unless it's like a Van Gogh sort of design on the card, I guess, I don't know. It's a dumb, weird experience that those two things just don't go together in my mind.
Hey, do y'all remember GTA Plus?
Yes. I subscribed for a month.
You now get Liberty City Stories and Chinatown Wars for phones.
Cool, wow. Great. Vice City Stories are bust.
Here's something cool. I bet Anthony will appreciate this. Someone discovered 2 playable characters in NBA Jam Tournament Edition for the Sega Saturn 28 years after release. One of them,
and one of the guys that it's based on said he didn't even know.
Yeah, so Tim Kitzrow, who's the announcer, is one of the characters. The other one's simply named.
That's who.
Yeah, the other one's just called Fox.
How'd they unlock them?
I don't know. That's just weird, man.
Yeah. I know that there's been some weird stuff found in debug codes that, like, once they figured it out, they went and asked, like, devs, like, okay, so, like, we think this one would have been, like, Bart, and they're like, yeah, Bart was, like, something we wish we could have done, but we didn't do. I think one of the other ones was Godzilla, actually, and they didn't get Godzilla rights either. So it's, like, just small remnants, but I didn't know there was, like, versions that had people playable that were hidden still, so.
Yep.
I've never been an NBA Jam guy, unfortunately. Like, I've played it, it's good, but I've never been, like, so far into it that I need to play all the versions.
Yeah, that's just a cool thing. 28 years, man, that's wild. All right. This next sentence, if you thought that sentence earlier sounded made up, this one sounds more made up. All right. Just hang with me until the end. Peanut Butter, a Shiba Inu from streamer JSR, will become the first dog speedrunning a game during Awesome Games Done Quick in January.
Yeah, that 100% sounds made up. Like, what?
There's a fish that played Pokemon on Twitch. And
What?
yeah,
Okay.
I don't know how the dog does it, but like the fish did it by swimming through. I guess they separated the screen into like essentially a controller layout, and so the camera would pick up where the fish was in the bowl, and then use that for input.
Okay.
That's crazy.
People have automated weird stuff. I mean, go on to Twitch right now. Someone's playing Dark Souls on a banana or something stupid like that.
I've read or seen some like stupid stuff. I'm like, wow, why would you? Why? Just
most of the Dark Souls stuff is actually one guy generally that uses all the weird controllers, but still.
Like a Dragon Gaiden will launch without English dub. It's only Japanese at launch.
With the new, I find it funny that the new voice actor can't be in the game right away.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Epic Games has announced Now on Epic, which is another new program where devs get 100% revenue from sales on Epic in the first 6 months instead of 88%. EA Motive's Iron Man game will be using UE5. The game is currently in pre-production. What else?
I thought they moved away from Unreal Engine when Frostbite became what they used in everything.
Well, they got away from Frostbite because it's too many problems.
Okay, I didn't know that they had done that.
Yeah. Like that Immortals of Avium EA Originals game or whatever used UE5.
What they have that EA Play program that's supposed to give you 10 hours of EA games or whatever, and I swear to God they only use it for their sports games, because that Star Wars game still ain't on their trial thing. The Immortals of whatever is not on there. Like, what the fuck? Y'all sell it like it's a perk and you don't even use it. I don't give a fuck about FC24. All right, I'm sorry. I'm done ranting.
Beanox has opened a new studio in Montreal, which is cool.
Cool, great. What was the last game Beanox worked on that wasn't Call of Duty?
Wasn't it Spider-Man? No, it was Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, they did do Spider-Man ones. Yeah, the Web of Shadow.
Yeah, but I mean that's over like
a
decade ago.
A decade ago? Yeah.
Call of Duty.
Didn't they also work on a Skylanders when Toys for Bob moved on?
I was gonna say they worked on the Crash Bandicoot 4.
Yeah, that's
worked on Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. Yeah. Call of Duty. Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. Call of Duty. Yeah, Skylanders, Spider-Man, Skylanders, Spider-Man, Guitar Hero, Monsters vs. Aliens, B-Movie, Pillars of Garendal.
The fact that Beanox did the B-Movie is perfection.
That is perfection.
What else we got here? Avalanche, the Just Cause developers, are opening a new studio in Montreal after acquiring Montreal-based developer Monster Closet.
Interesting. What did Monster Closet do beforehand?
I don't know. I've never heard of that studio.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm either.
You remember Second Extinction? The dinosaur Left 4 Dead?
Oh, the dinosaur game.
Yeah,
I played that.
It's on its second extinction.
It's time for the Twitter card because the game is being delisted after devs weren't able to launch the 1.0 version of the game and leave early access. The servers will stay online until late next year.
Oof.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
How is it that these games come and die so quick, but Star Citizen is still out here with $500 million and an alpha? What's going on?
Because people like you keep giving it money?
Nigga, I paid $45 for Star Citizen in 2012, or whenever it was announced. That's a drop in the bucket of his $5 or
but
$500 million.
Still, you paid $45 for something that has not happened.
Yeah, and I feel bad about that every day because it's not a real game. It's a beta. Alpha. God damn. Just move on. I'm about to cry.
So this is the rumor section. A leaked Sega of America presentation revealed Sonic Superstars DLC and a new Sonic game for holiday 2024.
Oh, cool.
I'm not surprised. They've had Sonic games, the last 3 years?
You know what? I might have missed this. Have either of y'all tried the multiplayer in that Sonic game? How does that work? Is it just you running side by side?
Local only? No.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I've only played single player. Alright, so the layoff time. So Epic has laid off nearly half of Bandcamp staff after finalizing its sale.
Technically I don't think they did it, but...
Yeah, they sell it to Song Trader. Zen Studios, the Pinball FX guys, laid off 32 people.
Traders of Operencia that I talked about earlier.
Yeah, just to note, this Zen Studios was bought by guess who?
Oh, Lord. The one that's buying up everybody?
Yeah.
I can't even think of who they are.
Embracer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Embracer just fucking... okay.
Neverwinter dev Cryptic has also been hit with layoffs. Guess who bought them?
Embracer.
There you go. There you go.
Did Embracer bought them a year ago or whatever? Okay, I thought they were being bought off and being late. I'm like, fucking Embracer buying shit when they can't afford it.
And then
My bad.
Finally, Frontier, the guys who make Planet Coaster and Jurassic World Evolution, have announced layoffs as part of an organizational review of the business after poor F1 manager sales. Motherfucker, you shouldn't be putting out an F1 manager. That's your first mistake.
Yeah, who expected F1 manager to sell a whole bunch of...
Well, they also did Elite Dangerous, and then they canceled the Odyssey update or the expansion for console, so it's only on PC, where it adds the first person stuff.
Yep.
Ugh.
All right, that's all the news
F1
I got.
manager.
But I do have an email and some tweets, so let's do those. The email comes from Francisco, who, Terrence, you're the recipient of the monitor from.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
He says, "It's been a while. Hello to you all. I know it's been a while, but I have a confession to make, and I'm so glad Anthony's here for this. I too am a fiddler, a huge one."
Yes. Fiddlers unite.
That's right, Fiddler Nation over here. I got my Batocera build to install the Switch emulators, and oh boy, been busy playing Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, amazing.
I'm so glad you legally purchased and definitely aren't emulating, don't admit to crimes.
Well, I mean, he could own them, you don't know. Metroid Prime...
That is true. These are games you own.
He could have dumped his own ROMs.
Yes.
That's right.
Metroid Prime Remastered, amazing. Metroid Dread, great. And soon to be playing the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection and Mario Wonder. Playing these games upscaled with anti-aliasing on my 4K TV is just a treat. Very accurate review on Anthony's end on the Metroid Dread review.
Wow, that's other than Ken, the first person to agree with me.
What was your Dread review?
7.5.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
that's much lower than I would have given it.
People were not happy because if it's Metroid, it's got to be great.
I love Metroid. I found that game to be a slog.
You know what's funny is it's one of the few Metroid games that I've ever played to completion.
That hurts my soul.
I am not huge on that series.
Correction, it was a 7.
And I enjoyed Dread. So that probably tells the story right there.
I said I'm dreading the response to this review. the headline.
All right.
Just quickly to explain why, because if I'm going to bring it up, I'm going to... I don't like how weak Samus felt through the entirety of that game, and part of it is because you're taking a character whose primary weapon is a gun and forcing me to get into melee combat in order to counter to kill everything. And I'm sorry, but that is not a Metroid game. It did a bit of that with Samus Returns, but I still felt there was enough weak enemies that I could just shoot at, and I felt like that was not the case with Dread. I felt that it was poor at giving direction to where to go. It would give me this this point and say, like, you need to head here, and it's like, cool, great. Like, there's 3 ways to head up, and then there's teleporters that just, no, I didn't. I liked how that game felt. I did not like how that, like, it looked great. The story was good, but like, I just didn't feel like it was as strong of an experience as stuff that's even inspired by Metroid. Like, I would rather play Axiom Verge than Metroid Dread. And the enemies were not fun.
All right. He says, Ken, sorry to hear the monitor was too big for you, but I'm glad my brother Terrence ended up with it. Hopefully it's working out well. I am sure he can handle big things. Wink, wink.
Yeah, yes, sir. Wait,
all 19 inches of Venom.
Except for there's an asterisk that says it's only 14 inches. So.
There you go. You can't front with it.
19 inches of Venom, including Miles.
Including Miles.
There was an email by another listener a few weeks ago about the nature of gaming as it relates to exclusives and the like. I think he's right. I understand that we would love for gamers to be able to play all games anywhere and everywhere, but I feel that would create lesser games. Competition is what drives innovation and the general pursuit of better products to attract customers to your ecosystem. This is the system that has created games like Spider-Man 2, Zelda, Mario, Halo, Last of Us, etc., etc. That is why I also believe developers should make the game they want to make and not what the masses want, because like all fanboys, the loudest group is sometimes the smallest group. I may be wrong, but I find myself playing less and less AAA games because they're all starting to feel like I've already played them. I also believe that is why remakes are so popular now. I mean, the 2 best games this year are remakes. This not only drives the point home, but also allows for so many games to be overlooked, specifically indie titles.
Okay, so Metroid Prime Remastered, I'm going to assume, is one of them.
Resident Evil 4.
Thank you.
He says, I can't stress this enough. Game Pass has been such an amazing value to discover lesser-known games and also act as a palate cleanser before starting a new game. Can't wait to see what the Activision Blizzard acquisition brings. As of now, Everspace 2 is my game of the year.
Good game.
Thanks for the weekly show. Always a treat to listen to. P.S. We need more PC Master Race in this bish.
Out Steam Deck.
Yeah, he did buy a Steam Deck, so there's baby steps, you know.
I'm going to, because I recall this conversation and the email in question, because I do listen to the show when I'm not on it, which will probably be more often than not now. But I don't think I don't have any issue, and I think most people probably don't, that when stuff is exclusive, like, no one's asking Sony to take God of War and put it elsewhere. Sony has put in the time to make God of War what it is. I wouldn't expect Horizon Zero Dawn to be anywhere else. If they put it elsewhere, cool, that's great. A little bit different when you own something with Spider-Man, I guess, because it's a license that Sony... That one's a messy one, but like MLB The Show, is now everywhere, thankfully. I appreciate stuff like that, but like, it's when Sony and Microsoft does it too, and I'm sure Nintendo does it as well. I know Epic Games has done that, where it's like, no, make it exclusive to my thing, even though I'm not putting really any money into the creation of it. I just don't want you to put it elsewhere. That's where I think a lot of people have rightfully called it out.
Yes.
There's no reason, there's truly no reason why Final Fantasy 16 can't be elsewhere. Right. They've just either have chosen on their own accord to do that, or Sony has paid them.
Oh, Sony absolutely paid them to do that.
Right,
for sure.
But Final Fantasy 15 was everywhere. Final Fantasy 13 was everywhere.
Yep.
It's like...
Final Fantasy.
So it's just one of those things where it's like, it's stuff like that I think is where most of us have irritation with exclusives. Because it's not really exclusive for any good reason other than greed.
Yeah.
And like, it's a weird, short-sighted greed. Like, I know that you brought it up, Ken, but like the Rise of the Tomb Raider is still one of the most weird, pointless things I've ever seen in my life for exclusivity. Why was it exclusive to Xbox for so long? I don't know. It didn't do very well.
Yeah, they were trying to match the, like, we got to pay for this big franchise kind of thing, and it kind of backfired on them.
You know, I think the only thing that came from that was the fact that there was a 360 version of that game.
Yeah, because Microsoft paid for that, yeah.
Right, and there was no PS3 version of it. So that's interesting, I suppose, and like I definitely see how that's okay, right? Because that's still work that has to be done. Like, you know, maybe the studio couldn't have done a 360 version without that money, but it is weird when you get stuff like that. And there's more of that than there are taking studios and giving them money from the outset to make something specifically for your console. Because that's okay too. Like if Sony approaches a studio that they do not own and says, we need you to make something for our console, I think that's still fair in comparison to like, here's a project you're already working on and now we're just going to take the rights for it. Thanks. Because that just screws game players more than anything.
Yep. All right, let's do some tweets and get on up out of here. Shogun writes in and says, man, you guys really messed up. How could you review that Sony game without pointing out all the game-breaking bugs? I mean, I thought Ken was an Xbox guy. # media bias. I know you guys don't like X, but where else will you find this type of entertainment?
That's a great point. I personally don't understand how Ken didn't take points off for the balloon physics.
Dude, people were
expected there to be some points deducted for the fact that you can see reflections in the balloons, but they don't move correctly the way actual balloons do.
I mean, I zoomed in on it like really close.
That's the thing to do. Is my understanding, yeah.
Yeah, because that's something I see regularly when I play. You would not believe how many people tweeted at me was like, I expected you to give this game a 7.
Wow.
I'm just like, why would I give a good game a 7 or like an excellent game a 7? Like that. Because
you're an Xbot.
Yeah, because that's clearly I just don't play other games. Yes, because preferences are the redeeming factor of that.
That's crazy.
I think the only 10s I've given out this year were to fucking Nintendo games. I mean, so, I'm really messing up. Microsoft's check did not clear. I just want you to know that. Jeremy says, hey guys, what's your personal top 3 games so far this year? I think I'm sitting on Everspace 2, Tears of the Kingdom, and reserving a spot for Mario Wonder. Thanks for the show. Also, Drew, congrats on being a dad soon. It's a hell of a ride.
It is a hell of a ride.
Yeah, that's for sure.
That is for sure.
And it doesn't stop for like 18 years.
Man, listen, I got something that done past that. It don't stop after that. Let me tell you.
No, I'm just saying, like that's the time when you can be like, well, get out. Like, get out.
Well, yeah, exactly. That is the bright side of that. My 3 for the year, probably, this is in no particular order. Baldur's Gate, Mario Wonder.
Lobster Johnson.
Oh my God, this dude really love him. Some Lobster Johnson. No, I don't. Man,
I mean, it's not that you don't have other games. It's just hard to pick one.
It is. It's so like I'm sitting here like it's so many.
Sorry, what are you trying to pick a game for?
The top 3 of the year so far.
Of the year so far.
God.
Yeah,
it's difficult.
It's very difficult. Like the only game that's guaranteed to be there for me is Tears of the Kingdom. Like everything else, I got to think about the order.
Yeah, I mean, right now my short list would be
Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah, would be up there.
Tears of the Kingdom is 3. Mario Wonder is 2. Pikmin 4 is 1.
See, you're a Nintendo fanboy, and I will not hear anything else about it.
I don't care about Spider-Man. No matter how good it is.
It's because all the bugs.
Heresy.
Come on now, it's the bugs.
What is he on?
And like, what else would be on that list? I suppose for me, like, what would you think is better than Tears of the Kingdom? Go.
I don't think anything is better than Tears of the Kingdom, but that's just me.
Like even I do clearly because I played it.
Sure.
But like, it's just like Nintendo. Out of the main three, Nintendo has been the most consistent this year.
Oh, 100%. Metroid will be in my list. Mario will be on my list.
That's another thing too. Metroid Prime Remaster.
God, I need to go back to Metroid. I still haven't finished that.
Resident Evil 4 will be in my list for sure.
That's one that could have been if I had played it.
Yeah, that one's definitely in my list.
That's one that'll be wait to see if DLC comes to the PS4 version.
Probably Spider-Man, maybe Jedi.
I didn't love the Jedi game, so that would be even if I had a console. Dead Space was this year.
What? Dead Space? Yeah, Dead Space was January. Or was it March?
Oh, right. No, you're right. January is Dead Space. March was
Resident
Evil.
Yeah.
I get those ones confused. They're two over-the-shoulder horror games.
Sea of Stars? Sea of Stars is another one?
Yeah, that would be my third. Oh my god, Sea of Stars is so good. That would be mine, yeah.
I have to go through the list of... What we got here? Best games of 2023. Let's just do a Google search. Hi-Fi Rush is another one I forgot.
That's one that I can't play, so... well, I can. I should probably try it on my PC now.
Two games that are not going to make my list, Final Fantasy 16 and Starfield. I can tell you those two won't make my list.
No, Starfield won't make mine.
Man, I feel bad, but I totally forgot about MK1.
Oh, wow. Dang, so did I, but yeah.
I think the world forgot about
it. I think they should feel bad for you forgetting.
Yeah, like that game. Oh, here's one you forgot, Terrence. Hogwarts, yeah.
Oh my god, that was this year. Jesus.
Yeah. Atomic Heart came out this year? I thought that was last year.
I think I have one that beats out Tears of the Kingdom for me in my top three. Even though I would say probably Tears of the Kingdom is overall like the better playing game. But Bomb Rush Cyberpunk is one of my favorites from this year.
Man, we got two really cool of that style with that and Hi-Fi Rush. Like, those two games are really, really good. Man, there was a lot of games this year. There's a lot of stuff that, like, normally in another year would be on my list, but is totally not going to make it. I can tell you that.
Yeah. And we're not done. There's still some bangers to drop. Like, jeez.
Yep. It's a crazy year. But yeah, those are... I'd say Tears of the Kingdom, Resident Evil, probably Metroid. Those are probably at the top. Which is crazy, the two of them are remakes, but goddamn, they're so good.
You can make your top three out of three remakes, and I'd be like, that's fair. RE4, Metroid Prime, Dead Space, System Shock.
Yeah, Dead Space. I haven't played System Shock, but yeah, Dead Space.
No, but you know what I mean, though. Like there's 3 or 4 right there that are just like, all those 3 stand up.
Jesus Christ, there are too many fucking games this year. Way too many. All right. Also,
all right, I don't get to go.
Oh, sorry. I thought you did.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Go ahead.
Jesus, no. Maybe I don't even want to go now. So I would say that it's going to take a little bit of time for me to determine the order of operations here. But I would say right now my top 3 are probably Spider-Man, Tears of the Kingdom, and Baldur's Gate. With Hi-Fi Rush just on the outside looking in, probably right this second.
Those games are so good.
Won't be on his list and mine either. Atomic Heart.
No,
true story.
Both of you did not like Atomic Heart. I enjoyed Atomic Heart.
And I played more of it than Ryan did, and I was like, yeah, I shouldn't have played more of it.
You know what else? You know what other game won't be on my list? High on Life.
That was last year.
Well, that was last year, though.
I know, but it's still not going to be on my list.
Well, yeah,
that's fair.
You know what I don't think is going to be on anybody's list that's actually shocking? What? Actually, 2 games.
Diablo 4.
Diablo and Street Fighter.
Diablo, those two may sneak their way towards the bottom of my list because I played, maybe not Street Fighter, but I played a lot of Diablo 4. I enjoyed the story of that game enough that it may make the near the bottom of the list, but it's definitely not going to be in the top.
This year has like some of the weirdest releases in that way, where it's like you would figure like any other year the franchise entry would at least make somebody's top 10, where you'd have it's a new Street Fighter, it would make somebody's list. Mortal Kombat, it would usually take top place. It's not. It's stuff like that's weird to me that these games came out and it's like, no.
I don't make Anthony's eyes roll so far in the back of his head that is like he goes blind. But didn't Overwatch go 1.0 this year?
Did it?
Wow. I'm kidding. I don't know.
Like Diablo 4 fell off. Street Fighter fell off.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat fell off even quicker.
Off. Yeah.
That's just crazy to me. We don't have anybody that's like super into Final Fantasy 16, so that's not really fair for me to judge.
I think that'll be on Jay's list. I think that'll be on Jay's list. That's
a game that I eventually want to go back to because I really, really liked the demo of that game. So
right, so that's the reason why I'm saying that's not really fair for me to say.
That.
It's I know one that'll probably be on your list, but it'll be low. The making of Karateka.
No. I thought it was good, but I didn't think it was.
It's good, but it's not on my list.
It's not Atari 50.
It's not Atari. Atari was too fucking good. That thing was too good. Yeah, there's been a lot of games this year. Man, Assassin's Creed won't make anybody's list, probably.
I haven't played it, so it's going to be very difficult for it to make my list.
It'll be your best game of 2023 and 2024 list.
Forza Motorsport will make nobody's list.
No.
It's wild, man. Some of these games, like you said, would have been at the top. Redfall ain't making nobody's list except disappointments. Come on.
That will be on that list.
All right. Shogun does say he didn't realize what that hashtag was being used for, the hashtag media bias. I'm only talking about Spider-Man 2. Don't click that hashtag if you... Yeah, you can probably...
Oh, okay, because I don't know what it's... Yeah, I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, it's about things in the world that are not really pleasant right now.
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm good. Okay.
Last tweet comes from Jeremy. He says, do you think the new Nintendo console will have an SSD, or do you see them just using a better chip? Do they stick with the hybrid setup, or just go console?
I think they're going to do the hybrid thing. I don't think they're going to...
I
think they do the cheapest option possible.
You know what? What really concerns me about this, and I was thinking about this the other night. Remember the last time they had a really successful console and didn't try to change it too much with the follow-up?
Wii U.
Yeah, that makes me
nervous. I'd argue, tech-wise, that was a bigger jump than the GameCube to Wii. Right? Like, the internals of the actual console in the Wii were just basically a GameCube. Which is like why the game's kind of the same in fidelity-wise, but then it's like, yeah, the Wii U was a better-looking console, but then like no one bought it.
Yeah, I just hope that the Switch follow-up...
Don't call it Switch U.
Switch U? That dude, somebody in the board meetings has said that.
He got thrown out the window.
Yeah, exactly. That person should be thrown out the window like that comic. Yeah.
There's no way in hell they have an SSD in that system. No way. Nintendo's not paying for that.
No, it's too expensive.
Yeah.
They'll ask you to they'll give you an SD card.
And I'm gonna tell you,
gigs.
I'm gonna tell you this right now. I don't believe that the first iteration of whatever the successor to the Switch is, if it is a hybrid, that I don't think it'll come with an LED. I think it'll come with a LCD to start.
Depends on how much because I don't know if their Switch, the LED one, I don't know how much they pay for the screens in those.
It's more expensive.
It's more
than the
for sure.
Regular Switch, yeah.
But if they're asking you to upgrade, if the cost to them is marginal enough, I could see them just doing that to make the new console seem worthwhile to upgrade just for that, even if it's not as big of a jump as people think. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to sell you on a console that's sort of just it is a better console by all means, but it feels just like a lateral move to the Switch Lite almost, in equivalence. So, like, sorry, I forget there is a Switch Lite. You know how the DS Lite, like, it was a brighter screen and it was a smaller console. Yeah, but at the end of the day, it is still just a DS. So, like, some people didn't upgrade, but, like, the move to a 3DS could have been. So, to me, it's like, I think if you put in the LED screen, there's at least something where somebody goes, oh, at least my games, that if it's backwards compatible, which I assume it is, at least my Switch games will look nicer on there. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they might make that decision just as an extra pull for people to upgrade.
Yeah,
but it's based on pure cost. Like, I know that there was, because when the Switch LED version came out, I know there was a big talk about how they got all these screens for cheap. Do you recall that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's where I'm like, if they can keep that pricing, I could totally see them doing that.
But also, I think Nintendo is in a very lucrative spot right now. Like, they can put a better screen in it and charge more because they're not going to hit that $500 price tag that the other two systems are selling for.
I don't think, to be fair, I don't think they're worried about hitting the $500 price range if they have something that will come out with it and make it worthwhile owning. I realize Breath of the Wild was the big seller for the Switch, but they had Mario in the first year as well.
I think we get the new.
Know what you do with a new console when you just released Wonder and Tears of the Kingdom this year.
Well, I tell you exactly what they're going to do. They're going to relaunch with Metroid and 3D Mario. I think that's what they launch with.
That's not okay. That's not a terrible concept. I don't know. I don't know because, like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, that's totally a thing that could happen. I don't know where Metroid is because the thing just seems like a mess at this point.
I think that's purposely why they're keeping it quiet, is like they're holding it for... They'll be like, Metroid 4 will run on the old Switch, but you totally want it on the new Switch, or whatever it's called.
Okay, fair enough.
I think that's their plan, and I do think there's been a 3D Mario in the works. I think Wonder was like you said, it doesn't feel like Nintendo made it, so I feel like it was like some cool ideas, kind of like, what was the name of the 3D, the open world Mario game? Bowser's Fury?
Oh, yeah. Where Bowser's Fury was in... That's what I hope, as much as I love Odyssey, and I think it's like my favorite Mario... It's in my top 10 of all time, I would say. That Bowser's Fury, like, took that concept and made something even better out of it, and I'm like, yeah, this is what I want the next Mario game to be, but, like, obviously on a bigger scale.
Yeah, imagine that type of Mario being a launch game for the new Nintendo hardware.
Yeah, I could totally see that being a thing. You're right.
Like, that immediately would... So, like, a Mario at launch? When was the last time Nintendo had a Mario at launch? It was 64? New Super Mario Brothers for the Wii U, right?
Yeah, let's go with that.
So, and we're talking 3D Mario? You're right, it's Nintendo 64. So...
Was Sunshine not at GameCube
launch?
No,
Luigi's Mansion was. A lot of people were upset about it not being it's not a Mario game, and I remember I probably won't like it, and lo and behold, I love that first Luigi's Mansion. I like Dark Moon, and I like Luigi's Mansion 3, but that first game I love.
Yeah, that was the big knock on the GameCube, was like, oh, you're not launching with a Mario, fuck you. So... Yeah, I can totally see that next year. Them announcing it like late this year, early next year, and launching in the spring. I can totally see that and being like, here's a new Mario. Like, let Mario cook for now, Mario Wonder, and then bam, next year.
Let Mario cook. It sounds like a game.
Dude, there's totally should
Definitely.
Be. There totally should be a Mario cooking
I was
game.
picturing Cooking Mama, but it's Mario.
I mean, that shit would print money.
It probably would.
Yeah.
All right, that's all the tweets and emails that I have for this week. That's all the news. It's all the games. Man, there's so many games. We'll be talking about more next week. We probably should have Alan Wake to talk about next week. Metal Gear we'll probably talk about next week.
Oh, I can't wait to hear that episode while I'm not on it.
But yeah.
Look, I should only be here when I have things to say. Otherwise, I just end up opening my mouth and annoying everybody. So.
Oh, you don't annoy me.
Yeah.
You don't annoy me either.
Oh, but anyway.
I just haven't tried hard enough.
I mean, it's been years, and I'm not annoyed yet.
Yeah. I'll change that mind.
But that's all we have for this week. You can still catch us on the Twix. I'm there. Terrence, I think you're there. Wombat, I know you barely ever post.
I barely ever post, but I am there technically.
That's where you can send us all these wonderful tweets. But again, I stress emails are the best way. Podcasts at ZTGD.com. You can send those over. We will still continue to do Twix until it's not. I don't know. That's a weird place. I feel like it's hanging on a thread at some point, and eventually it will die. But like, ain't nobody gonna go to fucking the blue skies.
Nope.
There's nothing there.
No, it's dead.
Nothing.
There's like one or two people that have made that their platform, and that's the only post I see.
And they're talking to each other. It's
Yeah.
like, bro, y'all can just text each other.
Yeah. Like there's no news over there. There's just nothing there. I'm like, okay.
Yep.
But anyway, that's it for this week. I don't know what's going on with Phoenix Down. Drew's just never around anymore. He's, traveling and prepping for babies.
Yeah,
Man, I couldn't. Dude is like pushing 40. Like I couldn't imagine starting at 40.
I absolutely could not. Because I'm over here counting down because I got one more that's, they're all mine are older, but I have one that's only 12, and I'm counting down from when she's 18. I could not imagine starting at 1 right now.
No, my dude, no.
It.
Like, I'm with you. I'm like, mine's 13. I'm like, man, starting over is just a scary thought. Yeah. But anyway, that's the show for this week. Unless anybody says anything else, we'll get out of here.
Alrighty, and it goes something like this.